So here we are again. I'm a little bit nervous today. Not nervous of this, nervous of wasps. Unbelievably, I've never worried about wasps in my life until the last time I got stung and I ended up in hospital. I am massively allergic to them. I got test results back the other day from some blood tests I had to have taken and sent to Addenbrooke's Hospital. And the first line was, Dave Lane is allergic to wasps. And I was like, great. They're working out a course of action to try and remedy this. It might be 30 injections over a 30-week period. It sounds a bit intense. But anyway, we had a wasp's nest up here a couple of weeks ago, you might remember. I got the man out to deal with it. And now we've got another one, or had another one, below me, directly below me in the garage. They've nested in an old holiday suitcase. Massive, great nest. I went out there, it's just wasps everywhere. Now, obviously, I can't be anywhere near them. So I came up with a little remedy for this, not involving me. And I videoed it from the safety of the kitchen. So it's not a very good video, but we're going to start there. Wow, I'll explain what happened there. We have a wasp's nest in a suitcase in the garage. And I am anaphylactic. I get stung by a wasp, I've had it. So my very brave wife just went and slid the open suitcase into a bin bag. It was my plan, but I couldn't implement it. And then popped it straight into my open bait freezer. We're going to freeze them to death. Well done, girl. Bless her, eh? What a wife. I don't like killing anything. That's not what I'm about. But obviously it's them or me. And probably it's got to be better than poison, isn't it? Just go to sleep in the cold and don't wake up again. But I don't know. I'm not a frozen wasp. So moving on, if you saw the cunning plan little short video that I done the other day, if you haven't, it's obviously probably below this one on the list on YouTube. I had an amazing response to it. It was absolutely incredible. So thank you all for your messages, and once again, you know, the usual apologies for if I haven't individually answered everyone. I read them all, I answer as many as I can, you know. But I did get a lot, which was good. That was the whole intention, to sort of put my toe in the water and see what you thought about the new plan. If you haven't seen the cunning plan video, I'll give you a brief outline of it now. If you remember the lockdown videos, when I went through the whole of an obsession with carp, went down really well. I enjoyed doing it, you know, as far as I can figure out. You enjoyed watching it. I have decided, in my infinite wisdom, to carry on and do a flick of the tail, and hopefully, if it's received well enough, into fine lines as well. So basically go through all the stories in the books, but not just exactly as they are. I'm not just reading the book, I'm reliving the stories. I'm remembering stuff like I did with an obsession as I go, that weren't, you know, it didn't make the pages, but great stories all the same. A Flick of the Tail's obviously got the Mere, it's got the Black Mirror, it's got Sonnin, it's got Two Tone at Coninbrook. There's an awful lot of content in this book and an awful lot of stories, and I've decided to, in the same sort of format, it may change a little bit in as much as I'm going to get myself a desk and a better chair, but apart from that, the same sort of style, you know, by a carp angler, for carp anglers, quite raw, sort of focusing on the stories, on the fun, on the captures, on the whole thing. Now, to make this possible, I've had to have some major life changes, because there's only so, it takes a lot of time. You know, you watch an hour's blog or a 45-minute blog or book reading or whatever, that's not what it takes, 45 minutes. You know, I'm doing all the editing, I've got nobody else, it's just me. I've got no crew, I've got no editor, so yeah, the filming doesn't take so long, but everything else that goes with it takes a lot of time. And to do what I've got in my head, the whole plan, if you like, it's going to be a lifestyle, really. So I've had to give up some other things, work commitments and what have you, and I've decided to put all my time into this sort of thing. And to the ends, I've made I will be making on my YouTube channel, on this channel, a separate section, which is called, it's through a company called Patreon, which a lot of people use, a lot of artists, a lot of all sorts right across the board, really, you know, DIY people that do this blogging lark. They use Patreon as a sort of a club, if you like a members club. There's a fee that you have to pay, a small-ish fee. It's £5 a month, which I get a percentage of, which creates an income for me and means I don't have to do the other stuff that I was doing, and I can then find the time to generate this. So it's sort of symbiotic thing, it goes round and round. Now within this members club, which definitely needs a name, I think, there will be book readings, you know, the stories going through the book. There will also be other stuff within it. I've got loads of ideas in my head. I was going to do like a technical section and this section and the other section, but I came up with the idea because it gets this Patreon thing, it gets its own message board, forum, whatever, and I thought, why not do a questions and answers, and that can cover all the technical stuff rather than me just tell you random stuff. I get a lot of people asking, can you show more rigs, more this, more the other. This way you can go in, send in questions, and I can answer the things that you actually want to know about. So I'm going to run it like that on this Q&A system, and then once a month I'll do the answers to the sort of top questions, if you like, and the one I choose as like the top question of that month will win a prize, £100 bait voucher from Mainline, so you know, decent prize. And I will do sort of hopefully an on the bank video answer for that. You know, we'll go to the bank, I'll set up whatever the question is and show the answer on the bank and how I go about it, whether that's rigs or line angles or whatever, really, anything, any questions you like. So it's a completely open Q&A with a prize for the top answer every month. So that's one of the things that will be within this club. And other little bits and pieces will get added. You know, I get a lot of people comment about my on the bank cookery skills, I would say. So I might even do a little side section, you know, of various bits of cobbery and barbecuery, and you know, how to do decent food on the bank simply, you know, and avoid the scourge of pot noodles, if you like. But yeah, they're just bits and pieces that I'll add. The main core of it will be, obviously, a flick of the tail in the same style as Obsession with Carp was in the lockdown. There'll be plenty of content on there throughout the month, and it will be a subscription thing, which I'll explain nearer the day. Which will be, I'm planning, I think, to start on the 1st of August. So the 1st of every month, it's a £5 and you get all your monthly content. Not all in one go, you'll get something every week. So that's my plan. So if you haven't seen the cunning plan video, that's basically what's within it. And I hope you get on board with it. And I'm really looking forward to it, to be honest. And I'll obviously still be doing other bits and pieces, blogging and what have you, you know, outside of that, which will be just readily available on YouTube and on Facebook and all the normal platforms. But I'm going to keep you all informed as to exactly what's happening, give you plenty of notice before it all happens. So that's my plans. If you haven't seen the cunning plan video, that's basically what I'm up to. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it all. But anyway, for now, let's get back to the island. Hey Madalena, we out again. Here we are, out on the water. Notice a lack of rods because we've dropped them off in a swim already. Which is behind me, which is there, which is the channel swim, which is just to the right. I was fishing just round that little peninsula last week when I had the big lever, and I heard fish in this channel all night, but it was shut because of the COVID situation. Obviously that changed on the 4th of July, and that swim's now open. I'd love to have been the first to fish it. It did 3 fish the first night. I knew it would. Yeah, it did 3 between 25 and 35, I think. So it might be a little bit old hat now. I know it's only a couple of days ago. But the guy who had 3 apparently didn't have anything the next day. So it was an opportunity, but unfortunately the opportunity occurred at the weekend, and I don't fish weekends. So I missed out there. But it's nice and quiet. It's Monday afternoon actually. I had me boy Connor down to visit over the weekend, and he didn't go till this morning, and we went to the cafe for breakfast. Hey, what a treat that is, actually in a cafe, having a proper roadblock. Lovely. But like I say, now it's, I don't know what time it is, mid-afternoon, 2 o'clock, say 2 o'clock, call it 2 o'clock, shall we? We're out on the lake and we're looking for inspiration in the form of jumping carp, because the water is still very murky and green, and you can see the colour in there, but we're not spotting anything through the layers, so we're just having a little drift about and see what's what. She ain't spotted nothing yet, she's rubbish. Is there any carp, Mads? Maddie? Madalena, I'm talking to you. Have you seen any carp? Not once for yes, and just shake your head. Oh no, talking. What does that mean? I don't speak dog. Does that mean yes, they're here, or no, they're not? Exactly what I thought. Clueless. Well, we've had a slow drift around all the main bit of the lake. And now we're out the back off the 3rd island there, in the, what they call the aquarium. Not much like an aquarium today. Aquarium's usually full of fish. I haven't seen no signs. I haven't seen anything yet. It's not the best time of day to be looking, really. It's probably getting towards 3 now. But it just takes that one carp, doesn't it? Just one sticking its head out. You think, whoa, there they are. So far, me and her ain't seen jack. Lovely conditions. Light cloud just bowling past, quite breezy, northwesterly, which is a little bit of a new wind, to be honest. Only a little bit, because it was southwest, then it went west, and now it's gone northwest, but it's going back southwest tomorrow. It's all it's all west based. I don't think it's a fish moving wind. But then they've been doing weird things. That big southwesterly that scoured the country last week. Practically everybody I spoke to said the fish went on the back of it. And those fish I had, although you wouldn't call it the back of the wind, but for the bay I was in, it was the back of the wind. Go through the little grotto. It's cool, this bit. I so like this little cut through. You like it as well, don't you, Maz? Pretty. Got to duck your head though. Duck. Oh, it says he's stabbing his head with a branch. Oh, look at me, I've been too busy filming and not steering. This is back out into the biggest bit. So if you was going just on the breeze at the moment, then you'd probably be headed over there. But it's just a breeze and it's nothing special. The only special bits is wherever them carp are hiding. I don't know where that is. So it looks like we might do a night in the channel. At least it's on an island where you can look out in various directions without too much wandering about. Where that is out there, a little white chair. That's the vipers, that's the end of the island, and the big green bush, sort of, where's my finger gone? I'm rubbish at this, there. That's about, just behind that bush is where I'm thinking of going. Unless one jumps, it all changes instantly. So here we are, we've decided to fish this channel swim. Like I say, it may be yesterday's news. I might be having sloppy seconds. It is a shame that it became fishable a weekend when I weren't here, because I'd have loved to have been in here first, like I said. But that is the way it is. I'm going to give it a go. I keep thinking I should be up that other end. It looks lovely up the other end. There's a light northwesterly blowing up there, makes it look prime. But I've looked at the weather and all forecasts say that, I don't know, let's say 3-4 o'clock in the morning, it's going to change southwesterly, which is coming back through here, which might make this look an awful lot better and that look an awful lot worse. I don't know. If I ever give the impression that I never know what I'm doing, that's because I never know what I'm doing. I'm very, very indecisive. But I am always willing to move. But I'm not today. I am going to do the do. Stick to my plan. Look at that clonking great lead. The size of that. It's like something you'd hold a boat down with, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going to chuck them out here. Or put them out here. I think. No, I am. With the water so green, the boat is actually giving me less and less advantage, apart from exact dropping. And last week, I had all 3 of those fish casting. And I think apart from this one, that rod's cast, and I think the left-hand rod's going to be cast. I think it's definitely a case for fishing from the bank at the moment. You just feel everything so much better. But this one's going over to the snags, so it's got to be exact.
Tonight we have the simplest of the simple, but the best of the best. Can't get better. Two big lumps of cow. Hey? That's the sound we like. And that's it. Cooking made simple, eh? Living like kings. Yum. Now we're there. Hurrah! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the world's shortest cooking video. 2 steaks on the grill, off the grill, dollop of Tesco's finest coleslaw. Look at that, eh? Can't go wrong, can you? Ta-da! Well, it's a beautiful morning out there, and bagged ourselves a nice little fish. Common about, I don't know, the way of 18 poundish, I suppose. Look at its tail on that. I mean, it's a right old one, this one. That withered little fin on him. Lovely way to wake up in the morning. Well, I was already awake actually. I've been awake about 15 minutes. Kettle hadn't even boiled. Good start to the session. And yeah. Yes. Nice. Right. So have that cup of tea now. That was a nice little start to the morning. You have to excuse the fact that that common was probably a bit blacked out, but I just had to have that sky in the background, didn't I? I knew I had about a minute to capture it before it disappeared. I just chucked the phone on the tripod and done a quick bit. Oh, see that? Another one. They're about. Big plume of bubbles just come up out of his gills as he went back down. He's about the same size as the one I caught, I reckon. That's the second one I've seen actually this morning. Well, third if you include one on the bank, of course. Which I do. That left-hand rod is actually the prime one. I think that's the one that's going to rip. Come on, rod, I keep giving you cues, but you're supposed to hoop round and tear off. On script. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think of the amount of hours of footage that I've shot trying to get bites on film is ridiculous. And then on the other side of the coin, I managed to get the Burfield common bite on film. How I managed that, I will never know. It's just absolute fluke. Right, although we have already caught one, that's the royal we are having a relocation. A bit rapid, because I stood in the swim just there, literally, and I must have seen a dozen fish in the next swim along. They're all alone, which is one that we've been in before. All right close in, casting distance sort of stuff. So I need to remember everything I need for a few hours fishing, and then I'll come back and get the rest, because there's nobody else about yet, which means there's nobody waiting to move in anywhere. There's hardly anyone here. So we need tea making stuff, milk we need there, a few bits and pieces. Oh, and tea. You can't make tea without tea, can you? Otherwise, it's just water. Yeah, bits and pieces. Fags are always handy. And stuff. And that. Right, let's get going. Oh, that was good timing. Just pressed record and bosh. And that's why I'm in here. That range, short casting range, just cast all three. They're fizzing like mad and sticking their heads out. It's a little late in the day for a bite, but you've got to think there's still a chance because they're proper active out there. Excuse the roar in the background, that is of course the kettle. Oh, hello Laney. Are you a good girl? Yeah, they're definitely there. It's exactly where I was seeing them from next door. I literally rushed in here with 3 rods, stood here for 2 seconds, watched the 3 bits of fizz come up, went plop, 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 and now one's jumped out over the top of my left-hand rod. That's carp angling. Easy peasy. No idea what I'm fishing on. Weed, silt, hard, whatever, but don't matter, does it, for a few hours? I'm fishing on carp. And that's what counts. Right, here we are, all set up. Ready to rock and roll. Bite time's done. We're staying here. We're gonna have a nice big brekkie. That's the first plan. And then slowly, bit by bit, we're going to redo the rods. I'm not going to boat it. I've decided I've got a bit of a plan. I've mentioned it before, but I think I'm going to put it in operation. I think I'm going to boat as little as possible in general. With the water being so green, it's just, you're not getting the advantage from the boat that you should be. You can't see anything. You go out there, you can't find your spots with the boat. You have to prod and clonk about, and it's just so much disturbance. And you can't see it, you know, if you go out in a boat and you're on fish, if you could see them, you'd back off. Sort it out when they've moved on or whatever. But at the moment, I think we're spooking them as much as anything. I say I've had, out of my last 5 fish, I've had 4 of them casting. That's got to say something, hasn't it? Right, it's that time of night again. Bit of cobbery. I ain't got a clue what we've got tonight, to be honest. I know there's burgers. Oh, I think somewhere I've got a corn on the cob as well wrapped up ready. And the other day I made chicken fajitas at home. I make my own sort of powder. And I marinated a couple of spare chicken breasts and froze them, so I don't know if they're sores or not. I'm sure we can find something to eat. Where's the magic box? God, it's still heavy. What's in the magic box tonight? Ta-da! Cider, strangely enough. 3 big chunky fat burgers. Some cheese, we can have cheeseburgers. Dog food, some of that out, because I know someone will want that. Ah, there's the corn on the cob. So, here they are. Chicken stuff, we'll have one of them and all, I think. Right, we're not going to get it wrong this time. We're going to cook the cob for 15 minutes before we even put the meat on. Because last time we had cob, we had to have it as afters. So yeah, I'm going to have fajita style chicken, cheeseburger and a corn on the cob and dog food. That's the plan, and a cold cider. It'd be rude not to have the cold cider first, wouldn't it, really? Just get in the mode. Oh. Cheers, everybody. Here's to many, many big carp for all of us. Especially me. Not that I'm being selfish or greedy or anything, but I am. But cheers anyway. Right, here we go. We've got guests for dinner. Evening, Moz. You alright?
Yeah, it's candles.
Yeah, candles and a bottle of wine would be good. So, what's in the cob? Decided to cook a lot in the end. Look at that. 4 chicken breasts with stuff on. A couple of cheeseburgers. 2 corn on the cobs. Happy days. Hungry? So it is now officially drizzle, isn't it, Madalena? Drizzle. And the forecast is for it to stay drizzle all night. You wouldn't call it rain, but it gets you wet. It's that sort of misty blur. And look at this. We've had to put sides on because the southwesterly has turned into some sort of a northwest southeasterly. And it's been coming straight in. Oh. Pardon you, Madalena. Did you hear that? It's my dog's manners. But you know what rain and bivvies and sides equal, don't you? Sleep. That's what they equal. Something about the rain on a bivvy roof. It's just so easy to sleep. And I could do with a little bit, to be honest. Maddie, I'm trying to film. Look at you knocking my arm. God. Excuse my dog shaking you all about. There you go. One hand for filming, one hand for stroking. Look at her, big tart. You big tart. Isn't you, eh? Big tart. Yes. Yes. It must be drizzle, because look at her, she's inside a bivvy. And that don't happen very often. Who knows? She may even be in there later. That'd be a thing, wouldn't it? Since I put it out every day. Every day we fish. Never slept in. Maybe tonight's the night. Well, there's not an awful lot going on this morning. It's 4:45. My dog's huffing with her head on my lap. She's bored of being in here in the rain. And it's pretty much been raining all night. I've seen one fish this morning. Came out like a trout out in the weed. A small one. Oh, aim it. Got a light in here. There she is, Her Majesty. That's better. She ain't ready for up yet. She actually did sleep in there all night last night. Wherever it is in there. Yeah. Got up about 4 and got on here as soon as my legs swung out. But yeah, not a lot going on. Just spoke to Tex Mozzer next door. He's had nothing and seen nothing either. Yes, it is early days. It is early everything. I'm hardly awake. But yeah, I might have had a little tug by now. Trundled off with a carp on it. Well, it's not been the liveliest of mornings. I say that. There has been quite a few shows. But typically not where I'm now fishing. They're not where they were yesterday. I'm definitely fishing on yesterday's news. They've all been much further out in the weed. I'm fishing, I don't know, 30 yards, not 40 yards at the most. And then the weed bed starts, and they've all been 60 yards into the weed bed, but nowhere in particular, sort of dotted about. But 3 fish showed towards that sort of corner over there, just within casting range, because with sinking braid you can't cast far, 90 odd. Yeah, all on the same spot. I thought, oh, I'm going to do something. So I'd like to say, a professional angler would say, he winched in the right hand rod, put a hinge stiff rig on, flicked it out there right on top of the fish. I could say that, although I could tell you the reality, which was I winched in the right hand rod, tying the rig, that was all no problem. I keep loads of them little almost like chod sections, just like the stiff end bit, already tied up. So I just whipped that onto a bit of jelly wire. So I got my little rig made up, white pop up, balanced perfectly, everything was going really well. Put on a big casting lead, got out there on the jetty. It's a bit tricky because there's no backswing. There's like a tree behind me, so it was a bit of a sort of drop cast and woof up, you know, there's no way of swinging the lead back up. The cast straight off the deck almost. So I've given it the absolute beans, lined it up with where I see the fish. Now, had the lead still been attached to the line when it hit the water, I'd have just set a new world record for casting, but it wasn't. Lead clips tend to get very soft, especially when you're using them with 8 and 10 ounce leads and dragging them in through the weed for weeks on end. So I gave it a big, and the lead came off the clip and just sailed off into the distance. Must have done 200 yards. So winched him in. As I went to swing it out into hand, what was left, you know, just the rig and everything, but no lead, it whipped round the line on the middle rod and got in a right old Joe mangle. Oh, this is not going well. So I had to get that off of that, which took a lot of doing. without bringing the middle rod in. Eventually managed to get it back up on the bank, and I thought, don't just put another lead on, Laney, because you know what'll happen. Next cast, that's coming off. So I took the leader off, slid off the lead clip, got out a new lead clip, turned round. I'd lost the baiting needle. You need the baiting needle to thread the lead clip on. It was in my hand, and then it just disappeared off of the planet like they do. Gone off to live with car keys, socks and remote controls somewhere. So found another rusty old baiting needle, got the first half of the lead clip on, turned round to pick up the tail rubber. That's gone off to join the baiting needle and the socks and everything else. Just disappeared. Out of the tackle box, found another tail rubber, got it all set on there, got the lead on there. Looked at the bait, I'd trodden on the bait. I put the rig on the floor while I was doing all this, and I'd stepped on the pop-up and squashed it. So I got out a new pop-up, still couldn't find the baiting needle. Got me rusty old baiting needle, put it through. Couldn't quite see without my glasses the hair stop to put the stop, the hair to put the stop in, the loop. Picked up my glasses, and I'd sat on them, and they were all bent out of shape, and they kept falling off my head. So I decided just to tweak them a little bit, just to bend them back so they fitted perfectly, and the lens popped out of my glasses and went shooting across the floor. So it wasn't going well. Eventually managed to get the little stop into the hole, whacked it out there, and miracle upon miracle, it landed right where the fish were. It's probably in absolutely solid weed, got no chance whatsoever, and it's way past bite time, but I have now got a bait somewhere near some carp, that right hand rod. The trials and tribulations of a carp angler, eh? How us professionals do it. Badly, very, very badly. But it's fishing-ish. It's in the pond anyway. It's underwater. That's about as good as I can do. So, in an effort to step up blog production, I've decided to hire a cameraman. He can go everywhere I go and be on hand to capture anything that might happen involving me. Unfortunately, she hasn't quite got the hang of the controls yet, but she's trying. She's not exactly the most enthusiastic cameraman I've ever known. Sleeping on the job, Madalena. Come on, I'm showing you what buttons to press. Could take a bit of training, this one. Well, it's now about 8:30, 8:45. I've now got 2 rods recast, the right and the middle, just blasted out there in the wild hope that they might be landed on the bottom rather than in the weed. The fish have pretty much stopped showing. I think we missed the boat. Faced with a bit of a dilemma now. I've got another night if I want it. I'm not sure I do. It's going to tip down again later, and all night, and all packing up time tomorrow, but there is going to be a break in the rain about lunchtime today. In fact, it's near enough stopped now, to be honest. So I might just make the executive decision to pack up, go home, get up in that studio and start filming Flick of the Tail Part 1. It's also my 10th wedding anniversary on Friday, which is 2 days away. And guess where I'm supposed to be right now? Right now, this second, I'm supposed to be on a beach in the Maldives, living in a hut on stilts in the ocean. And I'm not. I'm here. Which really isn't the Maldives.
as you can probably tell at this stage of the blog, I was even more unsure of what I should be doing than normal. You know, I'm bad enough on a normal day, but my head was all over the place. You know, I was thinking, should I be up here? You know, should I be filming? I've got a lot to do before the 1st of August, which is when I'm hoping to launch everything. But the fish were there. You know, it was an awkward situation. I wasn't, you know, I'd had the one bite. I wasn't really getting amongst them, if you like, but I was on them. I'd moved on to them. I knew there was an opportunity, and I was just like, do I do this or do I do that? I was like, Ed was in a whirl, to be honest. I'd also had some very good news, which I'm going to share with you, even though again it's another of these work in progress type things. Obsession with Carp, my first book. I've always been after getting a reprint of it. It hasn't been possible in the past because it was originally stored on something called film. I'm not up to speed with the different printing processes and what have you, but all I know is that things that are stored on film are now obsolete, so you can't print. I couldn't just use the format that we've got the book in and get another run done. It's not that simple. Now, all the original photography had been either lost or scratched, or, you know, they're just prints in a box, ruined basically. The disc that had all the photos on is lost. That's gone. That seems to have just, you know, not here in the last print run. It's disappeared. So, and I didn't have the words either on a Word document. So it meant rewriting the book or getting someone to type the whole book out, finding the photography, which, like I say, most of it doesn't exist anymore, etc. So it was a no-go. But a while ago, in the bottom of a cupboard in my office, I found a box, I mean a case, of thousands of slides. And I thought straight away, whoa, I know what these are. I got all my prints turned into slides back in the day for slideshows. And I looked through them, and there's this one, there's that one, there's you know, it was all there, which was amazing. And I thought, oh, maybe this might happen. Anyway, a few days ago, I got an email with a Word document of all the words in the book, so I can now edit it, have the book completely relaid out. Back in the day, it was very expensive to do a full colour book, as in very expensive. And by full colour, that means you get the opportunity to put colour wherever you like. Now, when an Obsession was printed, it was block colour, so that's why, if you've seen a copy, the photos, the colour prints are in groups of 4, 8, 16, often nowhere near the relevant text. Nowadays, you go through the pages, you get to the picture, it's in colour, it's where it should be. That's because the process has changed and become more affordable to have a full colour option. So, my plan is now to relay or have the book relayed out with all colour photography, where I want it. I'll probably change, because I found some great photos, I'll probably change some of the photos up, so that, say if there's a photo of me with the koi, for example, from Horton, I'll use a different photo of me with the koi from Horton. So there'll be a lot of photos in there that haven't been printed before, just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I have got better photos than I used in the book for some reason. I'm having the sketches redrawn, only a few of them, just the relevant ones, because again I haven't got the originals. And eventually what I will produce will be the book that I wished an Obsession always was, but couldn't afford to have done at that time. So it'll be better. It'll have, I'm sure it'll have extended stories. After doing the lockdown things, I remembered all these bits and pieces. I'm not going to change it too much, because it is what it is, and it was written at the time, you know, from my mind at that time. But I might add a few little bits that I forgot to put in the first time around, and basically produce, I hope, a better version of an Obsession with Carp. It'll only be a small run. You know, it's an old book. I know it's a popular book, but it's an old book, so I'm not going to do loads and loads and loads, but I'm going to do a limited edition Obsession with Carp, revisited if you like. So that was also in my head while I was at the lake, and I was just thinking, I could go home and do that. I could sort out, because I've got to get all those slides scanned into digital. I could be doing that. I could be doing this. I could be going through the text. But like I say, the fish were jumping, and I had to make a decision.
So I've decided to stay. I actually packed up, put everything in the boat, and I was ready to go home. Literally, everything was in the boat, ready to go. I'd left my markers out there. I was going to get them on the way home. And 3 fish showed, 2 on one marker and 1 on the other, and now I've just seen 3 or 4 out by the reeds. So I've got 1 on one marker, 1 on the next, and 1 out by the reeds. So I'm staying, and I'm going to do all my filming and stuff that I should have been doing tomorrow. I'll probably do that. I'm planning to go home early tomorrow, proper early, and still get some stuff done. That's the plan anyway. I've got loads of stuff going on. I touched briefly on some of it earlier, some of my plans. Oh, I've gone a bit dark there we go. Some of my plans of bits and pieces that I want to do on the YouTube channel and what have you. I've got another quite big announcement as well, something I've been trying to figure out and work out for months now, to do with the first book. That's a possibility. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff, and I should be at home sorting it all out and sorting this out, but I'm not, because there's carp out there. And up the road here, how can I turn this round? Can we turn? Look at that. Oh, get professional with this thing. Up the road here is Mozza, just round this corner, and I can smell chicken. It's not often Mozza's turn to cook. It does seem to be. I love cooking, but tonight he's good at cooking. I've seen him doing his little blogs with his barbecuing, but it smells absolutely delicious, and tonight is definitely his turn. So let's go and see what he's got. Oh, look who's already here. Madalena. Wonder where she's gone. And as I said, Mozza's turn to cook, and look at this. Dual cobbing.
Double cobbing.
Double cobbing, look at it. A great big pair of double D's. God, I've got a warped mind. Here we go. Look at that. I feel like chicken tonight. Well done, Moz. That looks an absolute blinder. Top man.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and me. So she. Not that she's getting any. I wonder where you'd gone. Why did you decide to come and see Moz? I wonder. There we go. Right, chicken time. Well, it's about 5:30. So far, the answer to yesterday's question, should I stay or should I go, is looking like I should have gone. Because there is nothing much going on. Got up at 4 o'clock, and by 5 past, it was torrential, and it was dark. It was that cloudy. It was still dark at 4, whereas 2 days ago it was broad daylight. It was just proper low, heavy cloud, and I say that it thrashed down. So I went back to bed for about an hour, fighting with the covers with Madalena. She never got in her bed at all. I thought if I put it in the front there, she'd love it there. But she hasn't set up, she hasn't even stepped in it to step through it to get onto my bed. She walks round it. She's currently sound asleep on the end of my bed. I managed to kick her off in the night. She went out there and slept under a tree. She came in at 4 when it started raining, and she's still there. I've seen 2 fish, both, strangely enough, right over the sort of reed line in about 3 foot of water. But out there where they were performing yesterday morning, nothing. Although saying that, they didn't really start showing till probably gone now. They were quite late on parade yesterday morning, so maybe, maybe it might still happen. There we are, homeward bound. And home, Madalena? All over? Back home for my 10th wedding anniversary actually in the morning. Better stop at Tesco's and get some roses, what do you reckon? Would be prudent, I think. Nearly there. Just 2 hours of the M25. And we'll be home in the bath. Might even treat her to a bit of a scrub up. Right, till such times. Ta-da again.
So I made it home in good time. Even remembered to have a little detour to Tesco's on the way back. Get a couple of bunches of roses, a big bunch of red roses and some white ones and lilies and various stuff. I even tried a bit of flower arranging. My mum was a flower arranger. I thought it might be passed down genetically, but it really wasn't. I hid them in the garage, got a big vase and chopped them and pushed them and got a few thorns in my finger, and it didn't look all that good, but I think the effort went down well, and she was happy. She rearranged them as soon as I gave them to her, and they look an awful lot better now. But yeah, so that was the 10th wedding anniversary. Went out for a curry in town, now that you're allowed to go to a curry house, and that was our first experience after lockdown of actually going into any sort of establishment like that. I've not been to the pub yet, but we did go to the curry house, and yeah, that was great. I also made quite a momentous decision, really, which I have already put out there on Facebook, so you'll probably already know, to part company with TF Gear after, like I say, a decade, which is quite emotional, really. You know, it's a long time to work for a company, and I've become very good friends with the people I work with, and we've had some great laughs along the way at the shows. And you know, a lot of the shows also coincide with the Six Nations, and I'm a big rugby fan, and everybody I work with are all big rugby fans. So we've had some proper good nights out, you know, at the show, nice meal, watch the rugby, a few beers, and yeah, it's been a very good relationship, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. But like I say, you know, I think lockdown's changed a lot of people. It's changed me. We're not used to that. You know, we've had 4 months of like a life break, something completely different. It gives you time to reevaluate where you're going. And I've decided to change my direction of where I'm going and do more of this sort of stuff because I do like it. I do enjoy it. You know, the editing is a bit of a ball ache, but I enjoy the actual filming side of it. And sometimes you just got to, you know, if you've got something in your head, if I've got something in my head, it just keeps niggling away. You've got to address it. You know, sometimes you've just got to take a gamble, you know, follow your crazy little dreams. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And who knows how it's going to end up or where it's going to end up, but hopefully you'll be along for the ride. So, until next time, ta-da.